Good morning, everyone. You know what's amazing? Even on a cloudy Tuesday like March 18th, there's always something bright waiting to shine through.
There you go again with your unswerving optimism, Alex. But you're absolutely right. Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning, everyone, where Alex and I turn the chaos of the day into something a bit more manageable.
Oh, come on, Mark. You love my morning energy. Plus, I've already had like 3 cups of coffee.
3? It's barely sunrise, though that explains the bouncing.
Hey, some of us need the extra boost to match your natural wisdom and calm, my friend. But seriously, folks, we're so glad you're starting your day with us.
Let's dive into today's horizon, starting with some news from space. 2 NASA veterans, Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, are finally heading home after being stuck on the International Space Station for 9 months.
Wait, stuck? Like, actually stuck? That's wild. Though I guess being stuck in space is kind of cooler than being stuck in traffic, right?
Well, they weren't exactly stranded. It's just been an unusually long mission. They're scheduled to begin their return early this morning.
Speaking of returns, there's this whole situation with Venezuelan deportations that's getting pretty intense. A federal judge literally had to order planes to turn around.
Yeah, this is serious stuff. Judge James Boasberg, the top federal judge in Washington, D.C., ordered deportation flights to be halted on Saturday night. The White House is claiming they didn't defy the ruling, arguing that since it was given orally rather than in writing, it wasn't enforceable.
Oh, come on. That's like when I tell my nephew to clean his room, and he says, "But you didn't write it down."
There's also been an interesting development with Voice of America and Radio Free Asia. Chinese state media is actually praising Trump's decision to cut public funding for these outlets.
That's concerning. I mean, when authoritarian regimes start applauding your media decisions.
And unfortunately, we need to end our news overview with some devastating news from Gaza. The ceasefire that's been in place since mid-January has effectively ended, with Israeli military forces striking dozens of targets early this morning.
God, that's horrible. How's the situation now?
More than 400 people have been killed, and hundreds more are injured. It's a significant escalation after what had been a period of relative calm.
Sometimes it feels like the world is it's a lot, isn't it?
It is, but that's why we're here, to help make sense of it all, piece by piece. Let's talk about something that's affecting all of us, our shrinking attention spans. You know, I was reading this fascinating study the other day, but I kept getting distracted by notifications.
Oh my God, yes! I literally can't watch a movie anymore without checking my phone like 17 times. It's actually becoming a problem.
It's not just you. Research shows the average attention span has dropped from 12 seconds to just 8 seconds since the rise of smartphones. And with TikTok and AI in the mix, it's getting even shorter.
Wait, 8 seconds? That's less than a goldfish, right? We're literally dumber than goldfish now?
Well, not dumber, just differently focused. We're adapting to a world of micro-content. Think about it. TikTok videos, AI-generated summaries, 280-character tweets. Everything's getting shorter and faster.
And it's totally changing how we work too. Like, my company just switched to these weird 15-minute micro-learning modules instead of actual training sessions.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Companies are adapting to shorter attention spans by breaking everything into bite-sized pieces. Even schools are starting to experiment with micro-lectures and quick-hit learning segments.
But is that actually good for us? Because sometimes I feel like my brain is just scrambled eggs.
The research is pretty concerning. Studies show that constant task switching and short-form content consumption can lead to decreased ability to focus on complex problems, reduced critical thinking skills, and even impacts on memory formation.
Okay, but here's what I don't get. If we know it's bad for us, why can't we just stop?
It's not that simple. These platforms are literally designed to hijack our attention. The algorithms are constantly learning what keeps us engaged, creating this perfect storm of addictive content.
And don't even get me started on what it's doing to relationships. Like, I was on a date last week.
Let me guess, they kept checking their phone?
Worse, we both did. We literally had a conversation about how we couldn't stop checking our phones while actively checking our phones.
You know what's interesting? Some experts are suggesting this might be the start of a major cognitive shift in human evolution. We're becoming better at processing large amounts of information quickly, but potentially at the cost of deeper understanding.
That's kind of terrifying. Are we just going to keep getting worse at focusing?
Not necessarily. There's actually a growing movement toward digital wellness and attention training. Some companies are implementing deep work periods, and schools are teaching mindfulness alongside tech skills.
So there's hope for my scrambled egg brain?
Absolutely, but it requires conscious effort, setting boundaries with technology, practicing sustained attention, and yes, sometimes just putting the phone down.
Maybe we should all start keeping goldfish as inspiration, like little focus coaches with fins.
Well, that's one way to look at it. The key is awareness. Understanding how these changes affect us is the first step to managing them. As we wrap up our discussion about attention spans, I want to invite you all to try something with me right now. Wherever you are, driving, walking, or just sitting, take one deep breath.
And actually do it, folks. Don't just think about doing it, like really breathe.
Notice how the morning light falls on the world around you. The way shadows stretch across sidewalks, how trees sway in the breeze, or simply how your coffee cup feels warm in your hands.
That's actually really nice. It's like hitting a pause button on all the chaos.
Sometimes the most powerful moments aren't in the grand gestures, but in these tiny pauses where we simply allow ourselves to be present, even if just for 8 seconds, goldfish style.
That was Blue Mountain Morning for Tuesday, March 18th. You know what would be absolutely amazing? If you shared this podcast with someone who could use a little morning clarity.
And hey, if you do recommend us to friends or family, shoot us an email at bluemountainmorningpodcast@gmail.com. We love giving shout-outs to our wonderful community of listeners.
Oh my God, yes. Like yesterday when Sarah from Milwaukee got her entire yoga class hooked on the show. That was awesome.
We'll be back tomorrow with more insights and calm conversation to start your day right. Take care, everyone.
Bye, friends. Don't forget to breathe.